Listen, I'm apologizing in advance. I got a cold, so it's going to sound a little, it's not the Boston accent, it's just the sinuses or whatever. I mean, the only thing I would say opening up is we're really looking forward to having the regular season open up. I'm excited to see what we got. And the only way we know is if we get out there in a real game. So with that, I'll open it up.
Would you have liked more snaps in the preseason with the starters?
I think everybody would, yeah. Yeah, it didn't work out that way, and for the right reasons. I think we're relatively healthy. Just the other day I was looking at a depth chart as we began training camp, and for a little bit there I forgot about. You guys remember Keith Reeser that we lost? I mean, you don't even boom, you just move on and you go to the next guy. But hopefully he's getting healthy. But the corner, we'd like to have as many corners as we can. But snaps, yeah, certainly.
I think what do you think of as the biggest X factors? I mean, it might be too many to say, or
X factors
how the defense will do. What's weighing on you?
Well, one thing, and I'm going to talk with them Friday or Saturday about it, is I think that it's natural when you're in something new that if things go the right way early, confidence builds. Now, the flip side of the coin happens too. And I think we need to protect against that. If it doesn't go great out of the gate here, and I'm not talking about just one game, the challenge will be to trust what we're doing, trust each other, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I think it's good to talk about that. I call it managing the downside, because this league is ups and downs. There's no such thing as perfect, and it won't be perfect. We just got to work out the kinks. And in the first game, the challenge always is what you do over on the sideline in between series, more so than... and everybody's going through the same thing. It's multiplied a little bit by the fact that the team we're getting ready to play has a new coordinator. It has a new quarterback. A lot of unknowns. So we do the best we can in prepping them, and then we'll see what happens.
Indy, I think, has kept 4 cornerbacks once since 13. I mean, that's just obviously a small number. How comfortable are you just with 4 guys?
Well, I think what Andy and Brett would tell you is we try to keep the best 53, and those guys grind away at finding that, and it happened to end up being 4. It feels light, and yet it's happened before. I mean, by the time you get to the 46, sometimes it's 4, and then you got to get somebody to cross-train, but we'll work our way through it.
What did you lose in Breeland Speaks, and who do you have in mind that can maybe fill that role?
Well, TK obviously has been in there. It was good to get Emmanuel back. I thought Coach Daly and I both thought he was playing really well before he got the oblique, and that set him back a little bit. It took a little while for him to get his groove again. Hopefully he's found that. But those are the 4 that we'll go with. I mean, we'll miss Breeland, and hopefully he can get back to health and get him back next year. But we've got 4 others.
Sorry, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
You went to camp with roughly 45 defensive players, and you looked at them all, and you gave them all a chance to make the roster. But the guys who are here now, the guys who made it on the 53 defensively, was there a guy or 2 guys maybe who kind of were a revelation to you? You maybe didn't expect them to be here at this point of the season?
Well, I didn't know a lot about Rashad Fenton. I mean, I know we knew a little bit about him coming out of college, but could he play inside? Was he an outside guy? So anytime it's a rookie, I think there's a little bit of unknown. I mean, I think we all felt comfortable with Juan, obviously where we drafted him. But
what about TK?
He's a good one to bring up because when you watch film of him last year, I knew about him coming out of Villanova. But when you watch film of him last year, he was certainly in a 2-point stance and on his feet a lot, and it was a little bit different for him. But I kind of like where he is now. I think he does too. But look, there's still a learning curve there for him. It's different than playing defensive end at Villanova University and playing defensive end in the NFL. And you all know this, that the speed of this game goes from preseason games to faster during regular season games to faster during play. It just gets faster. And so, him getting in a regular season game at that position is going to be faster, and let's see where it goes.
You mentioned before the idea of having defensive linemen that can rotate, that can play inside, outside. Is this almost sort of an ideal sort of scenario for this game? Obviously, with the Heat, obviously playing a mostly unknown opponent on the other side. You're carrying about 7 or 8 defensive linemen. How much are you eager to see how well they can all work together?
Yeah, listen, Frank's a good football player, and so is an Oak. I've been in this situation before. It's hard to put those guys over on the sideline, you know. But I think you got to do it early on, and it's good to get in a rotation, especially inside. You know, we're dealing with the heat, but look, at the heat's more mental. Coach Reed will tell you that than anything else. I think we've done a good job in training camps. Hopefully we can fight through that. But I think anytime you can rotate those big bodies in there, and we'll see where we are with all that when we come out, I think that's a good thing.
Last year was your first year off since like 1980. Just how excited are you to get back on the sideline and scheming and yelling and the things you like to do?
Yeah, you bring up a good point. It's, you know, I have always loved the preparation going into the game, and then just seeing how they perform, you know, with that preparation. I think that's exciting. Sometimes it can get frustrating, but I always said if I wasn't coaching football, first I'd coach hockey, but if I wasn't doing that, I might want to like be an architect or something, because you build, like an architect builds, or, you know, and then you see something at the end. So hopefully what we see on Sunday will be a good thing. But I do enjoy that.
We often hear coaches talk about communication, especially on defense, it seems like. What's the most pivotal aspect of that, and what makes it complicated?
Yeah, it's not so much, the pivotal aspect is the guy in the middle, which is the Mike linebacker for us. And I think Hitch has done a really good job. That really hadn't been his spot, but I'm going to tell you what, talk about a guy that studies it and takes pride in it and wants to do well with it. I think the other guys are starting to get confidence in him. That's the second thing. It's one thing as a Mike linebacker to be blurting it out and be assertive. It's the next thing for your guys to say, okay, what he's saying is what I should do, and they all rock and roll with it. That guy's really important. And then the next guy on the back end would be the two safeties communicating together. But listen, that's no different than any defense. I don't care what package you're in. There's got to be that communication. But you don't really know until you get in the thick of things. You know, you really don't.
And you to them is part of it too, right?
No question. Yeah, getting it right. They do understand how I talk now with my accent. It's funny. Hitch was saying something the other day at a check on the field, and I said, "What did you say?" You know, and he was just saying it differently than I would. But the guys understood, and that's the most important thing. You know, play to play.
On the back end there with Teron Matthew, obviously he didn't get a lot of time
in the
season. Do you change anything you task him with because of that?
You know, we're just going to, listen, we've put a bunch of reps into what we have and what we're doing, and we're not going to venture too far from that. We put a couple of wrinkles in for this team because that's what you do every week. He's a pro. He gets out there, and I think the guys trust him too. So hopefully it'll piece together. We'll find out.
A couple more, guys.
We talked a little bit about, like, you want more snaps, right? And everybody's so new. So it seems logical that your group will be better later in the season than early. But when it is early, what are some clues that people should look for to see, you know, is this thing clicking?
Is it working? I'll let you know on Monday. Well, listen, I don't know what the clues are, except that the proof is in the pudding. So if we perform, it's probably safe to assume we're doing decent in that department. If we don't perform, it can be a lot of different things, but a lot of it will come back to that. I talk to the guys all the time about, listen, we preach snap to the whistle, right? Going hard, being relentless. To me, from whistle to snap is just as important. You know, teams are going no huddle, and you know, me getting it to them getting it to, you know, the whole thing. That's really, really important, especially in this game. We play in the NFL now, with the stresses that the offense puts on you with substitutions, with the no huddles at different tempos. And we haven't seen a lot of that. We've talked a lot about it, and we've been working on it as best we can. I mean, our offense is not a no huddle team, so every day you're in a huddle. That's opposite. When in New York, Ben was always no huddle. We practiced the whole thing no huddle. And there's plus and minuses to both. It's just when you go into a game and you haven't worked it, it takes a little while to get used to. So hopefully the guys will step up.
What type of challenges is just Foles, you know, now that he's getting a chance to...
Yeah, I got a great deal of respect for him. I mean, I've been in Philadelphia a lot, and he's well respected. He's a good football player. I don't know if he gets enough credit for what he does on the football field. I mean, he's such a high character guy. But from the chin to the hairline and the way he operates during the course of the game, and the other thing about him is, look, he's not afraid to take a little bit of a risk. And usually the risks that he takes, you know, are successful. Hopefully that doesn't happen this week, but he's challenging to play against, no question.